Okay, in this video I want to take a look at an equitable principle called unjust enrichment, and following on from that, quantum meruit. Now, these might seem like archaic, arcane, old-fashioned legal principles, but they may well come to your rescue if there is a breach of contract situation, or indeed where you provide goods or services and there is no contract or no written contract. Unjust enrichment is an equitable principle. It can arise where there is a contract or where there's no contract. So let me give you an example. Say you've entered into a contract with somebody to provide goods or services, your goods or services, and you've agreed all the terms of the contract, except you haven't agreed on price. The work commences and you do what you have to do, but still there was no agreement on price. It's fair and equitable that you would be paid what you deserve, what is a reasonable amount for your goods and services. That is a quantum meruit amount. So here you have a situation where there's a contract, all the terms of the contract have been agreed, but price hasn't been agreed. You then carry out the work. The person for whom you carry out the work or supply the services or goods cannot step back and say, oh wait, I'm not going to pay you because we didn't agree a price. We never agreed on a price. No, it would be a situation of unjust enrichment if that person could get out of paying you for what you've done. Another situation where it would be where you have agreed a contract, there's a price, but you have exceeded the terms of the contract, and the other party has let you exceed the terms of the contract, and they have given you implied or tacit approval, and they then step back and say, oh no, I'm not paying you for that because it wasn't in the contract, I'm only paying you what's in the contract. Let me give you an example there. Say you are a small builder and you build an extension for somebody, and there's an extension price agreed. And let's say then you've finished the job early and you begin to do work on the paving, for example, in front of the house or in front of the garage or in the walkway up to the house. And let's say the owner comes along and says, God, that's lovely, you're doing a great job, keep it up. Once you've finished that job, it's not good enough and it's unfair, and it would be a situation of unjust enrichment if that person who let you fire away, who derived the benefit from your goods and services, then steps back and says, wait now, we never agreed on anything in relation to the paving job. We agreed in relation to the garage, but not the paving, and therefore I'm not paying you. These are situations of unjust enrichment. It's an equitable principle. What you will be looking for if you bring a claim against somebody in a quasi-contractual situation like what I've described, or indeed where there's no contract, what you're looking for is quantum meruit. Quantum meruit basically is what you deserve. In other words, some reflection of the work that you've done. Generally there's 3 or 4 situations or 3 or 4 proofs, situations, circumstances that you require in order to prove a situation of unjust enrichment and to win such a case or a claim. One is that you've provided goods or services to the other party. 2, the other party accepts those goods or services and has derived a benefit from them. And 3, that it would be unconscionable and unfair that you would not be paid for your time. Now, it's also perhaps it'll be looked, the circumstances will be looked at, but you'll certainly have a stronger case if you have notified or reasonably notified the other party that you expected to be paid, or that the other party reasonably or should have reasonably inferred that you would want to be paid. In other words, you weren't doing this work for nothing. Very, very few people volunteer to work for nothing. This doesn't mean that you can, for example, drive into somebody's house or property and start tarmacking their front or yard of the house and then say, okay, you owe me whatever, because those people are doing that work without your approval or without your consent. But by and large, if you provide goods or services for somebody, if they derive a benefit from those goods or services, then a lot of times it is an unconscionable situation, an inequitable situation, an unfair situation that that person would not gain from you without paying, and that would be a situation where you'd be bringing a claim for unjust enrichment. It can happen in an employment context as well, where a person may have a contract for say 30 hours a week or 35 hours a week, and they are then instructed to do in excess of that, 4, 5, 6, 7 hours a week in excess of that. It would be unconscionable in my view, and a case could be made for unjust enrichment, as well as non-payment of wages, obviously, for the employer in that situation to gain from the work of the employee without paying. So I hope you find this video useful. If you do, give it a thumbs up down below to say it's an equitable principle, unjust enrichment, and if you're successful with your claim, then you'll be paid or you'll be awarded quantum merit, that is the value of the work that you've done.